save me right now. Looking so crazy loud, got me looking so crazy loud. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy loud, got me looking so crazy loud.
Hey everybody. Let's make sure I got this on. Yep, we're on. Welcome back. I hope the raid train is still going strong. Hey Tisket. Let's see about this one. This clay, I got a really soft piece here, but I am working on some more mugs now. You know what it does, making it so much brighter right here? It's like, I can't see. I kept thinking, why is it so dark over there? I can't see what it is, but it's, yeah, it makes it dark over there, so I can't see my slab roller as well, but I can manage. Plus, there's a cat in the way. We added some extra lights. Hey Kate, Leatherworker and Loops. Yeah, welcome back everybody. Like I said, I hope the raid train is still going strong. Thank you for hanging out with me a little bit earlier. We got ourselves some lunch. I have a sleeping cat here. We're all good. Tux has barely moved, in all honesty. So I don't know if we'll get to 100 today, but I'm gonna see what all I can do here. We're finally up to 25 now. So I'm going to continue to make some more mugs. Anani, yes. What did I do with them? Where did I put them? Let me finish this one. I'll go get it. Yours came out looking good. Should have shown them on the earlier stream. So it's a little bit off-centered on the top. I think it's just around the rim here. Yeah, I can barely see that. I can barely see anyway, but now we added some lights here, so I can't see my slab roller very well. That, well, I think it's plus the glare of the all the lights in here on my screen is making it hard to distinguish what is what. See, that's way too tall. No, they turned out fine. They were just in the very bottom of the kiln, and I had only opened like half of it. Because I knew I wouldn't be able to send anything out till tomorrow. Like, has anybody, like, I don't know, I think this just happened. I just read it, and I confirmed that it was true and not fake, but, like, does anybody here listen to country music, or did you listen to country music in the 90s? Because country music singer Joe Diffie just passed away of the virus. It's very sad news. So I've got his song stuck in my head, John Deere Green. That's one of the songs that I know best. I know a lot of his songs, but because I listen to pretty much nothing but country music or oldies. That's what my parents listened to when growing up, and so like 90s country, like I would still listen to that stuff, and I could probably tell you almost every song and everything about all like 90s country artists. So it made me sad. Ooh, white tape. Could adjust it so I'm looking at the top part of it. I've still got my piece of black tape on there from when I had this at a different angle. I'm gonna do another one and then see, and then make a measuring spot. See if there's something else I can measure with. Kate Joe Diffie, country music singer, had some big hits in the 90s. Like super funny twangy stuff, like not crossovers at all, like silly country almost, but that's why I like it. I like kind of the corny stuff. You still like some of the 90s and early 2000s, yeah. And so I've got the song John Deere Green stuck in my head right now. And so J Deere Leatherworks, yeah, seeing your name, it triggers it it's going to trigger it every time now. Two hours ago, so it is fairly new. Okay, yeah, I just saw it because I just started looking things up on my phone. Ooh, no, don't move. That would have been something that'd be kind of dangerous to have flying around. Whew. That'll put your eye out. Well, that one probably is way too tall. Yeah, you remember you used to listen to it back in the 80s and 90s, yeah. Right, it doesn't discriminate. He was in his 60s. I don't remember where it said he lived at. I don't know where he currently lives. Said, yeah, this is a mug. This is the 20-ounce mug, yeah. Right, it'd be the right size for the first caffeine of the day, second caffeine of the day, fourth caffeine of the day, first decaf of the night. Right? Speaking of which, time for another cup of hot tea. 67 degrees. That's about what it's been outside today. We've had our windows open. Feels pretty good when the sun's shining. Yeah, but inside 67, yeah, it can be chilly, yeah. "67 sunny and humid" is different than 67, yeah, in a building with the AC on. Hey, Sarah. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody, and welcome back if you were watching a little bit earlier. Hope the hype train, or RaidTrain is still going strong. So I'm doing pretty good, getting a little bit of work done this afternoon. We had a very successful hour of our RaidTrain block at 1 o'clock. We got off for a bit so we could send everybody to the next person. Got some lunch. Tux hasn't moved very much. Oh, you had a scare with your cat yesterday? Oh no. Did they run off? Oh, emergency visit. Oh no. happened to her? Oh, she fell in 14. Yeah, yeah. Could have been anything. Now I can't see anyway because Tux's lump is in the way. Right, yeah, you're glad vet services are considered essential care. It's gotta be. Oh, like did they break or did they? Oh, you came out yesterday and she couldn't walk. Oh. They don't think she had a stroke or something? She's okay-ish now. Good, good, good. Wonder what they did to fix her or help her. I was like, what is that back there? I couldn't figure out. It's a cat toy on the floor. The Pope, thank you for the follow and welcome to the studio. Good afternoon, everybody. Love this and the cat. This is Tux. It's okay. You can say you came here for the cats. That's perfectly acceptable. And I don't blame you one bit. But I'm working on making some mugs right now. These are going to be my 20-ounce mugs, my normal ones. You had a cat named Tux. He looked just like ours. Yep. He's mostly black. He's got a white belly, and the white from his chin goes down to his neck and belly, but then he's got some white feet. Yeah. I will not say that. Tigger, what did you order on a mug? Because Daniel's apparently seen it and I have not. It's custom. Nathan, thank you for the follow. Yeah, welcome everybody. Well then, Tigger, this one might be yours. So I don't know which size you ordered actually. And now that you're out of panic mode, you can get back to working on your sweater, right? Now that I'm not in panic mode, I can sleep a little bit. No, not much. Okay. I think I remember hearing Daniel read the email from that. Sarah, what type of sweater are you making? Trying to see if there's anything else there I can use to measure by. I think I will take this down a little bit. If it'll go down any further, maybe up. That way I can use I can see the top of the slab roller right here. That's a lighter color, I'll use that. Did I cut it off? I don't remember. Don't remember if I cut this one off. Forest! Hello! Yeah, Loops, have fun! Oh, okay, Tigger, no problem. Let's move some of these down here so I can have some space. And I don't know where Kiba is. We have Minnie and Tux here. Tux is there. Minnie is up on the cat tower, though she's kind of hard to see. All right, we have 32 pieces so far. we went to the drive-through. We did. I didn't even know they were doing free delivery. Are they doing free delivery some places? I doubt they're doing it here. Oh, you just got a notice on your phone. Funny. Like in the past, probably 2.5 weeks since all this mess started. That's like the second time we've eaten out. Like we've gotten some drinks at the gas station, but that's like the second time we've eaten out in a couple weeks now. It's like you'd think we'd choose something besides Taco Bell, but there's not much here to choose from. Tigger! I'm not sure. Hamster's playing a D&D game right now, so your pun may be delayed, so... But it will come. Hey, when you get to a stopping point, we need a bad pun. When you get to a stopping point, we need a bad pun. So that's something we put that's new today. We put in something for you to spend your sub points on the Kiba kibble. That's what we're calling them. I don't know what we're calling them. Daniel keeps telling me, but I keep forgetting. You ready? Everybody ready?
I really put those up as gags. I really didn't want these.
All right, here we go.
I didn't have my mic, so I've got to stand close. But pottery isn't just for anyone.
True.
You have to earn it.
Ooh, I like it. I like that one. I'm going to use that one. When anybody asks me, if pottery, you know, takes a lot of practice, because that's what people ask me a lot. That's what
pun
I'm
is
gonna
dead
say.
and buried. Just saying.
Oh, 2 for 1. You got 2 for 1 there.
It's because they laughed at it.
I forgot what's he wearing. Oh, he's wearing his Twitch shirt. That's right, he's wearing the Twitch shirt. We make pet food bowls. Actually, we do. Let me just drop something. Because I tried to put one in the cat feeder, but it was too big. There's one. What do I do with the bigger one? There's gonna be clay on everything in here. So I can make them, you know, pretty much any size if you have dimensions and you want it to be a certain thing. But generally, this is the smaller one. It's like 6 inches wide, about an inch and a half deep for cats and small dogs and such. And then the medium-sized one, which is closer to probably 7 inches, sometimes maybe, you know, 7 to 8 average. And then probably more like 2 inches deep for a bigger one. Now, for a really large dog, it probably something needs to be bigger than this. This is like medium-sized Cocker Spaniel size dog. And then, you know, but I can make them any size. Like the pie plates are 9 inches by a good 2 inches, probably 2.5 inches deep. And so those could be for a larger dog or to feed multiples. I once made trophies for a dog show that was made with the medium size, and it was for the Canadian French Bulldog Society. Forrest, you don't need mugs or dog bowls or yarn bowls, but you've thought about buying them just because they're a piece of art? Well, thank you. Making you want to learn how to yarn with that cow bowl. Leatherwork. How big of dogs are they? Or dog and cat. I can. Cats are a certain size. Though mine vary quite a bit. Like Minnie, who's probably like 7 pounds, and Kiba, who's 18. You can't tell if that bunny bowl is adorable or creeps you out. It's okay if it does a little bit of both. It's okay. Leather, does your dog or cat, do they help you in your studio, or are they allowed in the studio? Oh, Pope, yeah, you want to take a class, but yeah, the virus put a halt to that. Yeah, all that. I've seen some community studios that have let people come in by appointment to use the space, like schedule it out. So there's only like 1 or 2 people there at a time. They've had a lot of just closed. I even saw one place that was letting people like rent and like take home a wheel. I guess if you have several and you don't have a ton of people, or maybe just rent them out to the people you know who will use them and like you trust to let them take them or whatever. Let's move this way a little bit so you're not staring at the plastic bag. Oh, 50-pound black lab. Okay. So you'd probably want like a medium, like a small and a medium then, or maybe even like pie plate sized. Do I have paw medallions like for the mugs? Yes. I don't know if I have an example of any of them. But the paw print, yeah, the paw print is my sub badge for the first year, and then it changes. But I've got a stamp, just a plain like one you can probably find anywhere. That's like a 1.5 or 2-inch paw print that I've put on medallions before. And don't forget, as always, and you could see this when I was assembling these yesterday, but everything comes with a paw print on the bottom of the handle. It's Kiba's stamp of approval. Ooh, we just got an order. Yeah, your dog comes in and out of the dining room where your workbench is set up. She'll come get loved and then sit by your feet. Cat'll just take your chair, right? When I was sitting at the wheel, because I'm standing now, when I was sitting, like, Kiba would come and get in my lap, and he would try to sit there while I threw, and he would usually, like, last for maybe 1 or 2 pieces until he got annoyed enough to leave me alone. Can we put nameplates on the food bowls? Yeah. It would be just like the mugs. It'd be a little medallion. And there's enough room there for a name. No, not for a whole lot, but a name. So the small ones would be 20, medium 30. The big ones are 40. Because they're about the same size as a pie plate. And if you need one bigger than a pie plate, just let me know. Like, I don't know what I'd have to make for something like Colleen's dog. That thing is huge. She has a Newfoundland. I really do need to just make a bunch of the cat and dog bowls and make samples. People ask me all the time, and it's just not something that I've not like taken the time to do very much of. But I may have some extra time on my hands in the next few weeks. Also, I've been wanting to make some of the slow feeders, like this, the dog bowls with kind of like knobs in them, so that the dog or cat can't eat too fast. Kind of purposely slows them down, makes it harder for them to eat the food. And I made a couple of them last year, and then they just didn't make it. So I never saw like how well they would sell or if people recognized what they were, but I've always considered, like, if, when shows get back up and running and stuff, like, I'd always considered going to, like, a dog show, or even I found out there are cat shows. Show cats. Never met a show cat. All my cats have just kind of found me or been stray cats or whatever. You've been to a cat show? Oh my gosh. I did not know there was a cat show until I started looking up dog shows. I don't know what got his attention. Oh, you had a St. Bernard up till last year, yeah. That's what. So Colleen had a St. Bernard. She said the St. Bernard was bigger than the Newfoundland she has now. There's one every year about an hour from you, and you went one year, yeah. But yeah, so they have vendor floors at these things. So I always kind of wondered if that would be worth getting into. You have one of the slow feeders for your cat, so he doesn't throw up all the time, right? That's what it's for. So good to know that it works. Do you have one that has the little knobs in it, or do you have a different kind? It has a dome with holes in it, so he has to put his feet in and pull out the food. Ooh, okay. That's a different design. Yeah, Forrest, your fiance's allergic to cats. Yes, you just have a dog, a mutt named Buddy Bear. I grew up with mostly dogs, but then I just like cats, and we adopted a couple of cats after we got married, and then we just keep acquiring them. Some cats and some dogs do the same thing. I've noticed like some of our strays do it more than others because we have one cat who was the runt of the litter, they said, and he eats nonstop, and he will sit there and eat and eat and eat and then get sick. He kind of grew out of that, and we one reason we got a feeder so it would feed them throughout the day so it wouldn't just leave a pile of food out. Fjorn, yeah, so you'll probably have to get a cat before all this quarantine thing is over. Yeah, you know what? Our Humane Society said what they're doing right now is they can't just let people come in because they're not considered they're forced to be closed for the most part, but they can make appointments. Like they have an online application, you fill that out, and they'll set up an appointment for you to come in and visit and see the pets, take the dogs for a walk, or play with the cats in their playroom, and do it that way. They've got so many people giving up their pets at this time, which everybody's in a different circumstance, but to me that's just it's horrible. And it's a horrible situation to think that you're in having a bad enough time you've got to give up your pet. No, it's probably not an easy decision for anybody, but the humane societies are being and shelters are being hit hard now too. Yeah, Pink Ears eats too fast because he was a stray. Yeah, and yeah. Bundruckus. Good afternoon. How are you doing? You know what? That's really good too. I hope that's good because some areas shelters are now empty because people wanted companions during the quarantine. That is wonderful news. It is kitten season, yes. Tux's birthday is in 2 days. It's been 2 years since Minnie walked in our back door and decided this would be the perfect place for her to have her kittens. Slanyara, thank you for the follow, and welcome to the studio. That means it's close to your watch-iversary. Oh, did you come for the kitties? Oxy, hello. Yep, Karen, almost 2 years. 29 days. Yeah, exactly. You followed the day we had the kittens. That's hilarious. You need a mug that says cats are like potato chips. You can't just have just one, right? For me, I would need to say cats are like Oreos. You can't have just one because Oreos are my weakness. Oh, why hello. Forest before now. I'm assuming you lived on a farm. This is Tux, almost the birthday boy. Oh, you have a husky and she's got enough energy for 5 dogs, yes. Yay for the Kiba cheers! And we got the Kiba cup back, our bit cup, so Kiba can eat all the cheers. Now we've been testing out our feeder this weekend, and we've got to wait until they get back with us on Monday to see if it's gonna actually work or not. But we've got it. It's supposed to be set up. It's like right behind me here. It's like set up for to receive cheers. So you can not only feed our cats, but feed all the cats, because we were going to take the cheers donated through the feeder and donate them to our local Humane Society, which I've been talking about. Whoa! There we go. Whoop, there's Tux's belly. Melissa, thank you for the cheers. See, there they go. They bounce around. It's actually working much better now than it used to. We'll fill it up. Now, let's see. Fill it up, and we'll see if it does an emote explosion again. Because used to, it would, like, something was weird with cheers, and they wouldn't all go in his mouth. Those all went in. So it may be working properly again. It's like the emptying of the bit cup is the greatest thing because it's the only time I'm like excited to see Kiba throw up, you know? Ooh, look at them. There they go. We get an explosion and they go in Kiba's mouth. Look at all those colors. Thank you for the Foxy cheers. Oh, and Tammy, I know we had you and several other people answering questions in chat earlier during the during our RaidTrain hour, and my parents were very impressed by the amount of people who could answer questions when I didn't see them. Yeah. You got to define new, because we're all kind of a lot of things are kind of on hold right now, and we're figuring things out. I have this one order that I'm working on, plus some of the individual orders. I've got one big wholesale order that I'm still working on because they still said they will take things. Let's make this one a little bit shorter. I don't know what you're doing. Oh, and cheer for Tugs, thank you. Hey, June Buggin, welcome back. Pink, you've been around for a long time too, and you know, it's almost even more impressive that you've not accidentally gotten kicked off or unfollowed, like sometimes will happen. So that it actually says, you know, over 4 years. Oh, one of your cats to pierce the dog's nose, yeah. Or have their claw get stuck in the nose, yes, yes. Whew. Do we ever do like custom shape things? Yeah, it depends on what you want. Like earlier today I was taking some, you know, requests of, you know, a viewer request, just say, hey, can you make this? And so I did that for a couple pieces. If you've got something in mind, you can always send me a picture, or if you've got something specifically in mind right now, we can talk about it. And I can say yes, no, or maybe. Yeah, he's like, I just want to play. You know what? I've never made a dog bone shaped bowl. I've made a cat shaped bowl. But that sounds fairly easy. Like it kind of like a shallow dish. Like how big are you talking about here? Oh, he wants to play with the cats. He keeps bringing them his toys. Aw. He's trying to share. Yeah, we used to have a neighbor here that lived next to the studio, and their dog loved to come try to find Kiba. And of course, like that, Kiba had nothing to do with him. If you want to see Kiba run fast, you see him running from a dog named Dozer because he was so big, because he was a bulldozer. So super friendly dog, and I, talking to his human, she's like, oh yeah, I was like, he's really friendly, and he's doesn't bother Kiba. He just Kiba gets freaked out, and she's like, yeah, sorry, but her dog, like, she's like, no, he's raised 2 cats. He loves cats. He wants to play. So she wanted to make sure I understood that, like, he wasn't trying to be mean, and he wasn't gonna hurt anybody. He just wanted to play. And so when I had my back door open in the summertime, sometimes he would come walking in to say hi. Oh no, I haven't done the juicer throwing. I have not. We have 42 mugs. 42. So let's see. I'm gonna get some of the softer clay together. I believe I used 2 pounds for the base. So the juicers that I make, or that I've made in the past, I make in 2 pieces. They have a the actual juicer mechanism is on top, and then there's a bowl that holds it. So we'll start with 2 pounds of clay for the outside bowl on the bottom. Okay, we'll make this and then measure it. What do I usually make? Normally I make the mugs that you see behind me. Those are the things that I sell the most often. So usually I'm selling things I'm making things I have orders for, and that's predominantly the mugs and the yarn bowls. Have a couple different shapes of mug that I make. And when I sit down to throw one shape, I tend to do a lot of multiples, a lot of the same thing, because it's easier to get into. For me, it's easier to be more efficient if I can get into a groove and make several of the same thing at once. The bulb mugs remind you of a jar of fireflies. So this one, we're gonna bring this out to the 6-inch tile. And then bring the sides up. So maybe I didn't need a full 2 pounds, but we'll see. This is also, I think, the base of this. It can also be used as like a gravy boat too, or you can use anything for whatever you want. But I want basically a oops, come back here. There we go. A bowl that's going to kind of catch the juice of whatever you're juicing, whether it be orange juice or lemon juice or whatever, like for a recipe or whatnot, for a dressing. Catch it in the bowl, then you can pour it out. We'll do that. 2 pounds of clay plus magic. Don't forget the cat fur. All it takes is faith and trust. A little bit of pixie dust or cat fur. Cat fur. Need to make a rhyme with cat. Can you make a rhyme out of cat fur? Cut this off, and I'm going to put a lip on one side of it. So we're going to do this. So it can be used as a small mixing bowl by itself. And then we will put the put a handle on this side. And then the juicer part will sit on the top. Now I need to get my ruler over here and measure this guy. Inside is 7 inches. It's kind of oval shaped. Okay, we'll go slightly less than 7 inches on this. That's the bottom of the juicer. Does the juicer portion get glazed fixed to the bottom? No, they will be separate pieces. The juicer will just sit on top. He took off in a blur, leaving nothing but cat fur. Jane, thank you. Loops, I've seen stuff like that too. A knitter saved the fur from brushing her cat until she had enough to spin, and then knit the cat a hat from its own fur. Though, so at one show I went to, my booth neighbor, was selling the roving, I think it's the proper term, the roving that people can then spin into yarn. But she also took commissions to do to spin fibers as well. And someone had sent her some dog fur, dog fluff that she spun into yarn and was delivering at the show. So I have seen that. This stuff down here is a little bit softer. So I'm going to do another 2 pounds for the top part and see what I need. So for this, think of the steps I'm going to take. You want to save your dog's coat and get someone to needle felt a mini of him. Yes. So this is going to be like a recessed lid, And it's going to be making it very similar to the I don't know if I left enough clay there. It's going to be very similar to the like sponge holders and things that I've made. So this is going to be hollow in the center, and I think I didn't leave enough space on the outside. I left way too much clay right there. So we're doing this. So this will be, we'll see what we can do with this. I'm going to close this up. So right now I've got a little bubble right here. So just slow this down a little bit. Whoa. Strange addiction. There's a show where a lady eats her cat's hair. Whew. Maybe I'm not deserving of the crazy cat ladybug. I need to see how much further out this needs to go, because I want to make this lip, I want to fold it over so that it will sit on the outside of this juicer, the mixing bowl that I just made. So this will be an inch wider out. So yeah, I definitely need to leave more clay on the outside of this one. Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry. Here we go. So I've got a rim over the edge there, and hopefully I think that'll fit. I think that'll fit. And then once this dries a little bit, I will carve notches into the actual juicer portion, and then poke holes in the bottom so the juice can run through, and that's how you make a juicer. I'm trimming a little bit off of here while I can. I may have to trim this. Depending on how heavy it is. Like I said, I wasn't sure exactly how much clay I should use, and I probably used more than I needed. So it's going to be a little bit on the chunkier side. But yep, so there's that, and then of course this section is hollow. And I may play around with having, you know, the lump there being different sizes, but I think it would still work. As long as I give it a texture so that things can be processed. See what I got room for down here. Yeah, so I think there's a picture of one like, floating through the slideshow here every once in a while, one of the juicers. Yay for the Kiba cheers. Did they go in his mouth? They did, I missed it. I see like one little Kiba cheer in there. Did it not work? What do I sell the most of after mugs? Mugs and then the yarn bowls. Those are going to be the top two sellers because we go to so many knitting shows and we wholesale to the yarn shops. You think so? It's just sitting in the middle. Okay. What are the sizes of mugs I make? So I'm working on right now the 20-ounce size. The 10-ounce looks just like this shape, but it's smaller, so it holds 10 ounces. 10 ounce, 20 ounce, and then the travel mug is a 16 to 20 ounce. There's a lump, unidentified lump in here. It's definitely a thing. I think it's actually just a piece of paper, which is not the worst thing, but let's get that out of there. Like a little bit of paper would be okay, but this is like a big chunk. Because, I mean, paper's just going to burn out in the kiln. It's not going to cause an issue, except that if it was a big piece of paper, it would leave a hole, so... All right. Ooh, converting the size of mugs. I don't know. What would they be in liters? What's a liter? Skip through the lumpy part. Yeah, all the scrap that, like, things like I'm cutting off here will get recycled. And then anything that breaks in the studio, anything that has not been fired can be recycled if it's not going to be used. If it doesn't make the cut. have a pug army in the back that squishes the clay for me, that recycles it for me. My pug mill. Ten ounce is 0.3, 20 ounce is half a liter. Okay. Calvi, you know, I don't know that this much clay is good for your hands. Like, I think the reason they say clay is good for your skin is because it does, like, it'll dry up the oils if you have oily skin. But this stuff, like, it dries out my hands to the point, especially in wintertime, that, like, my skin almost, like, tears because it's so dry. So I go through a lot of lotion. The ones behind me, yes, they've been thrown today. So we have 42. That was 43. Yeah, I was on a little bit earlier during my 1 hour block of the RaidTrain that's going on right now. Thank you. So you like the shape of the mugs? Thank you. Having them kind of collared in a little bit at the top helps retain the heat just a little bit. I just like the pot belly shape too. It's a shape I just kind of gravitate towards. Let's see how tall this is. Hamster's doing good. He's actually playing a D&D game right now. Sunday's usually D&D day. Online, of course. He's over here in the office. So on the other side of the wall. And so you can still use your cheer points, your stream points to summon a wild hamster. He put up some new things to spend your stream points on. You can summon him to give us a bad pun, or you can summon him to give some bad advice. The Kiba Kibble! Would I make smaller size mugs, like smaller than 10 ounces? There's no reason I couldn't. I make a little 10 ounce, like, not 10 ounce, what I call an 8 ounce teacup. It's, depending on where I'm at, they're teacups or bourbon cups. They're closer to 8 ounces. I made a thimble-sized mug this afternoon, but I squished it. Yes, we do still make the mana mug shape. I may have to make some of those because I'd like to have some in stock. I just haven't had a reason to make them in a while, or an order for one. But yeah, so the mana and the health and the stamina mugs were the 3 different potion bottle shapes that I was making with mugs. And I sold them with a with a cork as a lid. I think there's a picture of them from on Instagram from last year's TwitchCon. So that would be in like end of September. So the medallions, the mana, the health, and the stamina, they come with that on them, mana, health, or stamina. If you wanted just the shape, but with a medallion on that, yes, I can. Whew. Oh, good. I'm glad they like it. And I've considered making that like a new shape of mine, like something similar to the mana shape where it has a wider base, but taller, kind of like a tankard. So when you think of a tankard or stein, how big do you think it should be? I've seen like almost everything, you know. Sometimes people refer to a stein as the shape of the mug, and some people refer to it as like something holding a certain amount. What do you think that should hold? Because these mugs will hold 20 ounces. I was thinking like 32 ounces for a tankard, something bigger. See what 1.5 pounds of clay would do for that. Well, I wouldn't be making a hinge. It would just be more of a, so what would that be called then? Does it have to have a lid if it's a stein? Okay, maybe they don't have to have lids. Like a larger mug. Whoa, no, whoa. I don't know if I can put that back together. It may be too wet hydrated right there. Let's see, it's a fairly even break. Let's see. Here we go. See, the loops, that's what I was talking about, a beer stein. Like, I was thinking of making a mug that was wider at the bottom and narrower at the top, but making it larger, having a fourth style of mug that could be customized. There we go. Calvi, I know, I saw that. Like right before I started the stream, I saw that. So for like, I've had John Deere green stuck in my head now for like the past bit. It's actually probably a pretty good place for it to break if it was going to break because it was so even. Right there at the bottom. Let's see. Almost. Oh, you got to see him live. Wow. Anani, I will do my best. I think that's it. Yeah, I forget what Daniel put on there. I haven't seen all the different things you can request. But I know what 5,000 is. You can summon a wild hamster to either tell a bad pun or give very bad advice. So for 50K, you can request something, and I will attempt to make it here with the parts that I can make on the wheel. Attempt. Just be kind. I don't have enough clay to do a Big Bertha right now. Oh, must be under 5 pounds in size. Thank you. You know what, Anani? I had convinced myself that was someone else's order. I'm like, well, it's not on her order. Maybe it was somebody else I talked to about that. I don't know. Get to see him back in the late 90s. Yeah, that was perfect. Like, unless you followed country music in the 90s, you probably wouldn't have known who he was, but because he was like corny, twangy country. It was great. So I enjoyed it. Largest mug size? Well, I've got my big mug up here. I don't know. That's probably like 5 or 6 pounds of clay. I'd say that's a good 6 pounds of clay at least up there. But I've made, so the 20 ounce, I was just talking about making a 34 ounce mug, though. I would start with 1.5 pounds and see what that made. Mine's today, you feel really young, yeah. Yeah, no quality promises are made. All right, Leather, have a good dinner. And we'll see you later. Have a good night. See, I'd gotten John Deere Green out of my head, and now it's back again. So just the titles of the songs, like, you know, they're twangy country. It's so John Deere Green. There was one I remember that wasn't even listed as one of his biggest hits was like "Prop Me Up" by the Jukebox Till I Die When I Die. See, Third Rock from the Sun. What was some of his others? You got to see Joe Diffie, Diamond Rio. Ooh, I like Diamond Rio. There's a lot of Sherrys. But from that time, let me think about it for a second. Yeah, you grew up listening to those too. Yeah, they're in the 90s. Like, yeah, I listened to nothing but country music. You have to figure out who his first name was Sherry in the late 90s in country music. You don't listen to country enough. You say, like, I haven't listened to country in years. Like, I barely, like, I watched I saw the opening of the CMAs this past year because they did a tribute to women in country. And, like, half the people that were singing, I didn't know them. Yeah, I would still listen to 90s country music. I would, yeah. Like, specifically women of country music of the 90s, like Pam Tillis, Lori Morgan, Patty Loveless. That's my era right there. Tanya Tucker. Oh, and who is Independence Day? Who is that? Can't even think of her name now. I'm drawing a blank. Cause she's touring again right now. Of course, I'm just an hour away from Nashville, so we get a lot of people coming through. Yeah, anything before the mid 2000s. Sherry Lynn, really? Yeah, Martina McBride. Thank you. I can't believe I couldn't think of Martina McBride. Sherry Lynn, is that one of Loretta Lynn's daughters? Because her twin daughters did, like, made a few records. I remember that in the 90s. They just called themselves the Lyns, I think. Leanne Womack, beautiful voice. I got to see her do a Christmas show. About the last time I listened to country music was like when the Dixie Chicks were big. Because I love me some Dixie Chicks. I think that's what really got me out of country music, like in the early 2000s when they got shunned. I could say my mama has cooked with Loretta Lynn in her kitchen. It was a real shame. You want to see Leanne will making a Christmas concert, right? This is when I worked at Disney World. This was in 2002 when I worked at Disney World, and it was when she was huge, coming off of the I Hope You Dance popularity, and she was the one of the special Christmas acts for the Disney parade that year, singing Winter Wonderland. I'll tell you that I don't even know if they still do this, if they even need to do this anymore. But at the time, this was 2002. Not barely a year after 9/11, and so the parks were they were struggling and they were empty. But I was like an intern there, and they would they were handing out tickets for people to come into the park at 8 a.m. to have crowds, so they could film the Christmas parade. So the Christmas parades there are always filmed in sections because they want it to be perfect. And because there's so many different acts going on, so we were there trying to dress in winter clothes in the middle of it. Was like in August when they filmed it. Probably more like September, like it was or maybe October. It was the slower season, but it was still hot in Orlando, and so we're all sitting there pretending, and it's Christmas and we're cheering, but it was fun. Florida winter is still t-shirt weather, yeah. They still offer like special tickets to be in the crowd for filming. Oh, good. So there's somebody else in here who's like a current cast member in Orlando who was saying that they since they're closed they were laid off right now. Kate, are you currently there, or you're a former cast member like me? And we may have already had this conversation before, and I apologize if it's a repeat. Yeah, occasionally it's freezing. I know. Like the first year we lived in Florida, because we lived in Orlando for a couple of years. We went to the beach on Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and it was so great. We were at the beach. The second year we were there, we went to the beach and we were freezing because we had acclimated. You're nervous and excited about taking your dog to Disney. I wonder if they still do that, like special dog days where you can bring your dog in. I mean, if it's a service dog, you can always bring your dog in, but they have special days where you can bring your pets in and get pictures with characters. Ooh, you're currently in entertainment, and they make it a special event over a weekend. Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, I bet you can. So, Kate, is entertainment the same thing as operations, or is that different? Like, as far as like controlling the rides? Or are you more behind the scenes? Oh, really? I thought it was Disney World. So I saw an ad for it. So it'd probably be a pain to clean up from, but it sounds like it'd be fun. See, we went to Disney World in February. Or, no, January, actually, January. Because we hadn't been in several years, so we got to see the new Toy Story Land and, of course, Star Wars Land. I'm wearing my Slinky Dog t-shirt, actually. It says Guts of Steel. Because it's a Slinky Dog. And like I really enjoyed the all the different demos that are being done now. We have Tammy. You can send something to Tammy to post. Toy Story Land was extremely well done. Like the environment, everything was done. You can tell. I don't know. Did they start? They started that before Star Wars Land, but it's good, but then you go to Star Wars Land and you see where all the money went. but no, Toy Story Land is great. The theming is great. The rides are good. It's more geared towards kids. The rides are more geared towards kids, but the adults can have fun too. The Slinky Dog ride is you gotta do the Slinky Dog ride because it's Slinky Dog as a roller coaster. But it's not something I was gonna ride over and over again because it was that much fun. It was more of a kids roller coaster. But all the buildings are different toy boxes because you're just you've been shrunk to the size of a toy and you're going through Andy's room, or I guess Andy's backyard. I don't know what it is, but all of the fencing and things are made to look like K'NEX toys and yeah, so it's fun. But one thing I was like that on Main Street they have the fancier stores. I forget which one it is, but the one that has all the glassware and more of the high end stuff and like the designer bags and jewelry and stuff. They've set up a glass what's a glass thing called? It's not a forge, is it? Glass kiln? Glass kiln where they do glass blowing demos on site at Disney World. I'm like, how awesome is that? I want to know where I can set up and do pottery demos at Disney World. I want to be the official potter of Disney World. Though I have the feeling it's contracted out with the other glass demos because they've always had somebody there doing the little glass figurines and glass etching on things where you can customize stuff, but I have a feeling it's contracted out through them. But that setup is so nice. Flight of the Banshee. Is that the one? Is that the Avatar ride? Is that what the name of it is? Star Wars Land is epic. It is very, very well done, and the ride that's there, I forget what it's actually called. Escape or something. But it's like it's a 15-minute ride, and it's like 3 different rides in one. And it's the one you have to be in the park to get a ticket for it to get in line to get a boarding pass, because it takes like what, 20 people at a time. And so you have to be in the parks when the park is open, like when they open and you're in the park at like 7 a.m. It's very surreal, because it's just people. You can enter the park an hour before it opens, and so it opens at 7 or 8 o'clock? Anyway, you can get there an hour beforehand. So this park is just sitting there with people standing everywhere watching their phone. So when it turns to 7 o'clock in the morning, everybody's doing this, tapping to get a ticket to get to ride this ride, because it is so epic, and it's brand new. Because the boarding parties, like, they only will get through maybe 75 boarding parties in a day. And if you're not there, like even if you're there at the beginning, one of the millions of people trying to tap the button, you may get number 124 and you're done, because it's all random. And my phone worked and Daniel's didn't, so I got us like number 40 or something, and we got in before the ride broke down. So we got to ride it. But on the upside, I got to ride like Tower of Terror like 15 times. I wish. It broke down too, but I did get to ride it like at least 4 times. Yeah, after everything settles down, yeah. Yeah, and the time we went was a slow time. One of your friends has been and keeps telling you about it, yeah. They did a really, really good job. Like the last time we had been to the parks was almost like right after they had gotten the rights to use to Star Wars, like before the movies came out at all. New movies came out, and they had the rights to the characters, so they had meet and greets with all the different Star Wars characters, and they had like parades, and that's about all they had, because that's what they could scramble together. And so it wasn't that impressive, but this is impressive. Like Daniel, like he is a huge Star Wars fan, and he was almost kind of afraid to go, because he was afraid if he got disappointed, it would just ruin it for him. Yeah, your roommate used to go to Universal every November when it was basically empty. Yeah. It was great, but now you miss going, yeah. It's like, yeah, working there, we would, friends, we would get off work or go to somewhere before work, and then, ride a few rides, go do something, go see a show, then go to work. And then when we lived in Orlando after we got married, we got annual passes. I wish the annual passes were that cheap again. But we got those, and that was kind of our entertainment budget. Oh, you went in August of 18, and you did Animal Kingdom, so you could hit up all the Avatar stuff, yeah. Another thing they did really beautiful theming with. So Apollo, hello. And thank you for the follow. How did I get into pottery? Well, I took my first pottery class when I was in college. So I took my first class in 2003. It's been 17 years. And since then, I've been lucky enough to keep up with it. I worked with another full-time potter after I got out of school. And that's where I learned more of the kind of the business side of being an artist, and learned how to do more production style work. But I've had my own studio equipment since 2007. And I've been full-time at this for the past 8 years now. Right, Disney's the best at forced perspective, right? It's like when you're going into the park, the buildings are angled to make it look like the castle's far away, so you want to get to it, and so the opposite effect when you're leaving, it looks like the exit is closer. Makes the castle seem bigger, yep. And what I'm working on right now are the 20-ounce mugs. And don't forget, guys, we're doing a special thing today. Since we were part of the RaidTrain earlier, we had our block at 1 o'clock. We had a great response. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us then. And thank you for coming back. But so for today only, anybody can get 10% off on our website by using the code. What was the code? We made a command for it. It was RaidTrain. RaidTrain code gets you 10% off, and that does stack on top of your sub code. So I don't. If it might not quite be 25%, but at most it's going to be 25% off. If you're a sub, you can use that code too. They do stack, because subs always get 15% off of the website. It's our way of saying thank you for supporting the studio. All right, Apollo, we'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Whoa, that's too dry. Whoa, I gotta get some plastic over here. I'm like, wait, that looks like it's a different color. It's much drier today. It's not like it rained last night. Arg. These are the ones I threw earlier. I'm gonna have to do better with these. So I may have to like not get to 100 today just so I can. That's okay. All right, so cover that up. And I'll get these two on the end here. I'm gonna have to assemble these pretty quick. All right, Calvi, have a good night. Mine, yes, I do ship to Europe. You can actually go on the website, and it will give you a shipping quote for whatever you're looking at. What's the matter? So we've got 53 pieces. Pink. Yes. That is fine. Yeah, because I can ship one right away and then ship one later. Yes. And if you'd like me to just wait and ship everything together, I can calculate shipping for everything and see if I owe you a refund. So if I put them in the same box, sometimes it will be the same, sometimes it'll be less. Well, thank you, Mun. Yeah, people tell me a lot that it's relaxing to watch, and I know it is because I like watching other people, but it's also relaxing for me to do, especially when I can get into a groove like this and be working on multiples and get into a groove of the repetitive motions. It's very relaxing, very soothing. I think you can say that about a lot of different crafting processes, whether it's working with yarn, clay, wood, leather. Hey, Olivamp! So you're not good at any of those things. What do you do to try to relax? Because, also will read a book or play a game. Things that are relaxing for one person might not be for the other. Where Kiba was right here yelling at me. I don't know where he went. Ooh, you draw in paint, yes. So similar in that it's still a creative process. Like watching all the different creators on the RaidTrain that's going on this week, like so many people like drawing and painting different things, like so much talent. I would not even know where to start. Like talking to Daniel, it's like, I haven't just sat down and practiced drawing in years, but I used to be very good at portraiture, and like I wouldn't even know where to start on a tablet. So some of that's just amazing for me to watch. Do you find that you're more impressed by something when you know a little bit about it or when you don't? Like if it's completely like you have no idea how someone does it, are you more impressed, or are you more impressed when you actually know how hard something is and then see it done well? Oh, you also do woodworking. Nice. I think you're more impressed when you do know a little bit about it because you can appreciate it. Oh wow, you say with things like drawing, that used to be your job, really? Tell me about that. Yeah, you're far more critical because you know exactly how it's supposed to be done. Yeah, so I think it's easier to be impressed when you just know a little bit about it, enough to appreciate it. But yeah, maybe hard to watch somebody who's struggling doing something. That one made good contact. Hey, Killbot, good afternoon or good evening. Yeah, it's almost 6:30. I may fill up this level of my cart and then prep on assembling those poor travel mugs. Like this is like it's been last week. So last week and a half ago, I threw like several pots, and it took a full week for them to dry out. Like I kept them covered up for a week, and was able to assemble all of them fine. And like made some pots the other day, assembled them yesterday. But those things, like, when did I throw those? I started about 11 o'clock, so 11 noonish, so 6 hours ago they've been sitting out. That's why you never know. You cannot, nothing ever is the same from day to day with the weather. Nope, same clay. Same clay. It's just drier in here today. We've had the windows open. It's not humid. The last couple days we've had the windows open, but it's been very humid. Then we got all the rain last night. And everything's moved on. Shoo. It's not dead yet. It's not dead yet. Sorry if y'all can hear Hamster. He's getting really into his D&D game. Oh, yeah. He had to quit, yeah. The situation in the world right now, that's certainly a way to put it, yeah. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have an order to work on right now because most of my clients who are just, brick and mortar, usually family-owned shops, they are all closed. So I've had several orders just canceled, so. But luckily, most of the things I have are things that can be sold by themselves. It's not a lot of logo stuff. Still doesn't look very pretty. Maybe not that fast. I don't know if he watches Critical Role on a regular basis. Look at that. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Level out that rim a little bit. saved it. It's. What do you think? I'm not sure that like it's. I saved it, but it's really wonky. It's really wonky. Oh, just to say, you never understood D&D, but you thoroughly enjoy Critical Role. You think really think Critical Role has changed D&D a lot? It is. I think just because of the internet in general and the way the what are we on 5th edition right now has made it a little bit easier to play, easier for beginners to get into. And just because it's been around for what, 2 if not 3 generations now, it's fire it anyways and have a smashing good claytality. Doesn't count as a claytality. I don't think I would be very happy with this one, so I'm gonna squish it. I saved it, but then I probably should have just given up on it, so there we go. Say Critical Role definitely got you back into tabletop gaming. You just started a new 2nd campaign today with 6 total strangers. Yeah, because isn't the hardest part of getting a D&D group together, that can commit to playing, as adults, with everybody's schedule trying to coordinate something, so doing it online seems to be where a lot of people have gone with it. Yeah, there's something so satisfying about breaking something, especially when there's no value lost. Yeah, that is also stress relief. That's why we call them therapy pots. See, I can reuse that clay, but if the once it's been fired, there's nothing to do but just like throw it away, maybe use it as a glaze test, or get some use out of it here in the studio if it's something that's not too badly broken. But then every so often we'll have a therapy pot day and just take things outside and break them against the wall and throw them away. I don't think I've got any glaze tests in the works. We had a customer request for an orange and white apple baker that I made, so I'll need to take a picture of that. But that's one I kind of knew how that would turn out, so because I'd done that before, so it's nothing brand new. Hey Colleen, good evening and welcome back. Yeah, I hope the raid train is still going strong. Yeah, this is Tux. So it's hard to tell he's a cat if he's not facing us. Luckily he is today. So Marie, I've got, this is a plastic bat that I cut a hole in. And I'm just using plain old floor tiles as my bats because they take up less room and they are cheap. You've done pottery but never throwing. What have you done before? Just hand building? So you really feel like trying something new now. I know if all the all the public places weren't closed. Yeah, most college-level pottery courses right now have become glaze theory and history classes because nobody has access to equipment anymore. Yeah, Tux is almost 2 years old. He'll be 2 years old on Tuesday, the last day of the month. He's the birthday boy. Because Tux was actually born in the studio. Oh, Minnie's not behind me anymore, nope. That's what you learned at the pottery place you went to, yeah. Hand building is definitely a little bit easier to teach because you don't have to have the, specialized equipment for everybody. But yeah, you don't even need a wheel to do pottery because there's so many different techniques out there. But sometimes making things on the wheel is a little bit more efficient. Let's turn this down a little bit. So mine, I can adjust the speed, yes. So normally I would do that with a foot pedal if I was sitting at it, kind of like a sewing machine or a car. But this wheel has a knob here because I've got it propped up and I'm standing at it. I've got a knob that I can turn right here. So now, turned it off. Oh, I think I found Minnie. Where is she, buddy? Yeah, I'm using the dial now. Like, when I first propped the wheel up so I could stand at it, I tried still using the foot pedal, and that was, like, almost worse on my back than sitting. Here's Meanie. Actually, you can't see her for Tux. There she is. What's up, Meanie? Minnie is Mama Cat. Ooh. Started your kimchi. How long of a process does that take? How long does it take? You're seeing if what you have around there to make a wheel out of, yeah. Only takes a few days, but the longer you let it ferment, the more intense the flavor. I can't say I've ever had kimchi, but I'm not a fan of like sauerkraut or anything like that, so. Really, so you're not a sauerkraut fan, and in general you don't like fermented things, but you're doing a lot of research on and experimenting to make things to your taste. Interesting. Like probably the way to make things to my taste would be to add sugar to it, because like so Daniel likes cabbage, just fixed cabbage. I just boil it, I guess, and whatever you add to it, is just a regular vegetable. And so I looked up a recipe and I asked a coworker for a recipe, and she said, "You do this, let's add sugar to it, and that's how you make cabbage." Okay, I'll try this. Make Daniel some cabbage, and like he nearly gagged because it had sugar in it. So there are apparently two schools of thought there. Bitter or sweet, not both. Green tea and honey, sounds good. Ooh, 30 pounds of dog, that's a lot of dog. Lighter and sweeter. He's calling laughing because I said 30 pounds is a lot of dog. I think that's where it came off. Look at that. You can't even tell it was messed up. Look at that. Just a slight wobble there. Saved it. Saved this one. Anything under 20 pounds is a cat. Mine, yeah, well, have a good night. And we'll see you later. Thank you for stopping by. Hey, Bonnie. Yeah, welcome to the studio, everybody. When do I mostly stream? Afternoon and evening, not usually in the mornings. I'm in Central Time right now. It is 6:45 at night. I do not have a set schedule because I usually stream just whatever I happen to be doing during the day. But I think you already hit that follow button so you can get some updates. Oh no. There we go. Now I've got, looks like about 6 more of these I'm gonna do, and I may call it a night. Let's see, I could probably get this done by 7 o'clock. That'll be a good time to aim for. Oh, cute. Your grandpa's husky used to pull you around in a sled. I remember my neighbor growing up had a husky. It's had 2 different colored eyes. Didn't you say, Colleen, that you're supposed to be putting him on a diet? Well, there's Meanie. She's so funny. She chirps and talks when she jumps and moves around. Mugs, mugs, and more mugs. I'm gonna do 4 more. 4 more? Yeah, 4 more. Take a phone call. All right, so Daddy was trying to figure out how to donate to the feeder. Daddy. Yeah, we can figure that out later. He was trying to making sure he wasn't messing it up. Because we have, like, we took the camera off of it because it's not working, but we have a bits feeder that we have connected. We can get it to work through the app, but we can't get, we're supposed to be able to donate bits to feed our cats, but not only feed our cats, but we're going to donate the bits donated to our local humane society, but it's not working. So we're going to wait until, everybody's working again tomorrow, I guess, and hopefully they'll get back with us and help us make it work. Yeah, yesterday Minnie did. She caught a fly and ate it. We got a close-up of it. Her sky raisin. I gotta tell him he's been christened Mud Dad. Yeah, I don't know if you could see very well the difference in size of the two of them, but Minnie, she's itty bitty. She lived up to her name. Tux, you're blocking me, buddy. But I can see well enough. So I'm using the top of my slab roller to measure the mugs, but Tux is blocking it. Your 30-pound dog goes fly hunting for you, yes. Yeah, they're like, there's not a cricket in this building anymore. Who needs pest control when you got Minnie? You had a dog named Minnie, but now she's fat. My parents have a cat named, they found 3 kittens around Halloween one year, and so they named them Hershey. They named her like one Coco, Hershey, and Nestle Crunch. And they kept Nestle Crunch, but she is round. That's the roundest cat I've ever seen, so I call her Nestle Chunk. Oh, Bentley got a couple of moles out of the garden. Like for Bentley, that's like a fly is to Minnie. That's like. Your last husky brought you a dead squirrel one day? Was there like how did he keep it intact? I guess that's a good question. Was it pre-dead or did the dog make it dead? Tell you, when I was in high school, I remember the fastest I ever got out of bed one morning was when my father called upstairs and said, "Hey," very quietly, instead of, "Hey, I'll get up." It was, "Amanda, I think Miss Kitty Cat brought a squirrel in the house. I don't know where it is. Is she up there with you?" That got me out of bed. That got me out of bed fast. That will wake you up. But that cat was like that we had growing up. She was a good hunter. She brought us everything. Birds, squirrels, rabbits, moles. Your dog brought you a dead mouse and laid it by your head. Yeah. Ooh, bats. Okay, 2 more. Oh, I saw a Kiba. Oh, Felgar! Hamster, we need some really bad advice. Ha ha ha. So it's 2,000 Kiba Kibbles get you bad advice. Hey, Abdu Felgar, what is your question?
I've really got to.
Maybe make it more expensive. Felgar, what is your question?
It's like 2,000. I mean, that's a lot of hours watching.
Do you have a question, or do you just want random bad advice? Right? Yeah, I think that was the same time I was talking about where you woke me up one morning saying, "Hey, Miss Kitty's got a squirrel in the house. I don't know where it is." I've never gotten out of bed so quickly in my life.
It's true.
Well, do you see him? I don't see him.
Colleen could write.
Right? So maybe we need to make some things more expensive.
One is with Selma Hayek and Heidi Klum. Who should I keep?
Two conflicting dates. One is with Selma Hayek and the other is with Heidi Klum. Who should you keep? We're here to stay. We're logging hours. And so while he's thinking, I'll say, so the more you watch, the more you participate in chat, you get points. You get stream points to use on different things, and we just added these today. So 2,000 points gets you some bad advice.
Blow both of.
Oh, sorry, you need the mic.
Blow both of the dates off and ask the Pope out for a wild ruckus at a bar.
There you go. Thank you.
It's the worst bad advice I could.
Shouldn't take that long for bad advice. And see, he didn't think people would take advantage of this. What else should we put on there, like, for points? I was thinking, like, to put, well, we have 50,000 points is a special request, special request during stream. And I will say, you could use that anytime if you want me to try to glaze something. I've got things I could test back there if you want to say, hey, what is this, glaze this with this? That's something that you could request with those points. We got, I think we should put like a 50,000 point thing for like squish a pot or something after I've made it. right, that was just in time. We have, this top layer has 35 on it. That one has 32. So we got 67 pieces today. 67, not bad, because we, part of the time, like I did made some of the travel mugs, and they are, you know, take a little bit longer because they're a bit more finicky. But then, need points redeemed for a kitty feature, right? Well, don't forget, once we get this thing working, I'm going to be taking donations. We've had a couple of donations already that I'm going to puts in the fund here, but I'm donating all of the bits that go towards the bit feeder to our local animal shelter, because it's supposed to take bits and spit out food whenever you donate bits, so you can feed our kitties and you can feed all the kitties. But we've got to get it where it's not working properly yet. So when hopefully this week we'll get it up and running, and for every 500 bits that's donated, it will trigger. So you might have to redeem some points for like a kitty scratch or something, or an elbow scratch. Or make a really expensive one, find a cat and give it a belly rub. Make it risky. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We are gonna sign off for the evening. I'll probably I need to see how dry those things are. I made those at about like 11 or noonish today, and they're already like drying around the rim, so I've got to do something with those to make sure they don't dry out completely before I can assemble them. But I will be back tomorrow. I've got some shipping to do in the morning because we had some orders today for some of the pieces we actually have in stock, so thank you very much. And if you are thinking about placing an order today for the rest of the day, because today was our RaidTrain hour at 1 o'clock, we put up a coupon code for anybody who wants to use the coupon code RaidTrain. It's 10% off on the website, and that does stack. If you're a sub, you always get 15% off. It stacks with your sub discount. So if you've been thinking about placing an order, get it in before midnight, and you'll get an extra discount. But guys, thank you so much. We need to, before we go, I need to see who's on the raid train right now. We'll go raid them. Let me go see. Could have just rolled the cart out of the way. Who's on right now?
Let me check. Are we hosting?
Yep.
She just hosted to Yoko Butt. So we're gonna do them quick.
Yoko Butt. Here's who we're gonna raid. Go say hello, everybody. Keep the raid train going. There we go. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good night. I will see y'all later. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.